All right, so today we're jumping into a book that's about so much more than just what happens in a classroom. It's really about transforming how we learn, how we lead, and honestly, how we live. This is Teaching to Transgress by the absolutely visionary writer and thinker, Bell Hooks. Think of it as a powerful guide to making every single space we're in a practice of freedom.
And Hooks kicks things off with this really radical question. Just let that sink in. She's not being poetic here. She is seriously asking, what if the process of learning, of growing your mind, of changing, could be a source of real profound joy, of excitement? Just imagine applying that idea to your job, your relationships, or even just your own personal growth.
Okay, so let's get into this, because it's such a fascinating paradox, right? For pretty much any academic, getting tenure is the dream. It's the finish line. But for Bell Hooks, it felt like a trap. She was genuinely afraid of getting locked into a profession that, from what she'd seen, promised freedom, but so often delivered the total opposite, just conformity, boredom, and control.
So, to really get where she's coming from, we've got to first understand the wound she was trying to heal, the core problem that she saw at the heart of so much of our educational system. And for her, this wound was personal. It was deep.
You see, Hooks' earliest education was in all-black schools, and she said it was revolutionary. Her teachers were literally on a mission to nurture black intellect as a form of resistance. But then, when she was bused to integrated white schools, everything flipped. All of a sudden, the goal wasn't to have a zealous will to learn anymore. The goal was to learn how to be obedient, how to conform. Education became a tool for domination, not for freedom.
To describe this controlling style of education, Hooks borrows this term from the brilliant educator Paulo Freire. It's called the banking system. The idea is that it treats you, the student, like an empty bank account, and the teacher just makes deposits of information. It's a system that actively discourages you from thinking critically or participating. It basically teaches us to just consume information, not to co-create our own understanding of the world.
And this slide just lays out the two paths so clearly. On one side, you've got that education as domination. It's all about obedience. It leads to boredom, to being passive. But on the other side, you have Hooks' vision, education as the practice of freedom. And that is built on critical thinking, on active participation, and on connecting what you learn to real life, which is what can lead to that genuine ecstasy she talks about.
But the thing is, Hooks never forgot that another way was even possible. She held on to the memory of her early schooling, and that memory became this constant spark, always reminding her what learning could be and what it should be.
And this wasn't just about reading and writing. Her teachers knew their students. Really knew them, their families, their struggles, their communities. They got that educating a black child in that time and place was a deeply political act. It was about giving them the mental tools to fight back against the system that was literally designed to hold them down.
Just listen to her words here. Ecstasy, pleasure, and danger. Wow. The pleasure part, that came from the thrill of being changed by new ideas. And the danger? Well, that came from learning things that totally challenged what she was taught at home or by society. That's what true learning is, right? What true self-leadership is. It always involves that risk, having the courage to question everything. So she had this powerful spark from her childhood, but to really build it into a philosophy that she could teach and share with the world, she needed some tools. She needed a new language, and she found it in the work of two absolutely incredible mentors. First up was the Brazilian thinker Paulo Freire. He's the one who gave Hooks the framework to really put words to what she already knew in her bones. Concepts like conscientization, which is all about becoming critically aware of your reality, and praxis, that powerful cycle of reflecting and then acting to change things, those became absolutely central to her work. And this one sentence from Freire, Hooks called it her revolutionary mantra. What it means is that you can't just passively wait for someone else to come and liberate you. You have to be an active player, a subject in your own story, right from the very beginning. That's really the core of self-advocacy, isn't it? Claiming your role as the author of your own life. Her second mentor was the Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh. Now, Freire focused on the political mind. Thich Nhat Hanh brought in the spirit and the body. He taught Hooks about taking a holistic approach, that to really learn and grow, we have to care for our whole selves. And this introduced the profound idea of the teacher or the leader or the mentor as a healer. So how did she pull all of this together? Well, Hooks didn't just copy and paste these ideas. She wove them together into her own, really powerful and unique practice for creating real change.
And this is it. This is her core concept, engaged pedagogy. It's about so much more than just teaching techniques. It puts well-being front and center. But here's the truly radical part. It demands that teachers or leaders or whoever's in charge must be actively committed to their own growth, their own self-actualization. You simply cannot empower other people if you aren't on your own path to wellness.
So, what does this actually look like? Hooks lays out 3 key principles. First, you have to center excitement. That means you actively fight against boredom. You disrupt apathy. Second, you build community. You have to recognize that learning is not a solo sport, it's a team effort, where every single person's voice matters. And third, you embrace vulnerability. The teacher or the leader isn't some detached expert on a pedestal. They're in it with everyone else, willing to share, willing to take risks.
This quote, it just gets to the absolute heart of it for me. It completely reframes why we should even care about theory. For bell hooks, it's not some dry academic game. It's a tool for survival. It's a way for us to take our own pain, understand where it comes from, and then find a path toward healing. It's a practice of self-recovery that's available to every single one of us.
And this is really where it's all heading. This whole practice isn't just for a university classroom. What Hooks is offering us here is a gift. It's a blueprint for a revolution of values that can literally transform our society, starting with how we treat each other every single day.
Hooks would often bring up this call to action from Martin Luther King Jr. The work of creating these engaged, liberatory spaces, it's all part of this bigger struggle. It's part of the fight to build a world that values people more than profits, community more than consumption, and real connection more than control.
So what can we take from this and actually use? First, link theory to your life. Use big ideas as real tools for your own wellness and self-recovery. Second, value every single voice. This is the heart of co-creation, right? Seeing that everyone brings something vital to the table. Third, embrace discomfort. Realize that true growth means letting go of old ideas. And yeah, sometimes that's painful. And finally, be a healer. Commit to your own self-leadership, your own well-being, so that you can genuinely lift up the people around you.
But let's just pause on that word classroom for a second. Because for Hooks, a classroom is any space where learning can happen. It could be a team meeting at work, a tough conversation with a loved one, a community project. Any place where we come together with the intention to grow, that is a radical space of possibility.
And that, right there, is her ultimate call to action. To transgress just means to move against and beyond boundaries, the boundaries of old, tired ideas, of limiting beliefs about ourselves, of fear. That movement, that courageous step into the unknown, that is what makes education and life itself the practice of freedom. So the question that Bell Hooks leaves us with is a simple one. What boundary will you choose to transgress today?